What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bros Films channel. Recently, I was sponsored more gold from the developers to make these videos, so thank you. Today, I'll be reviewing the new Fw-190-a4 and telling you guys all the information you need to know about it. If I leave anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, this plane will go for 5,000 gold, but you must have purchased the previous Fw for around 7,000 gold. This might sound a bit pricey, but you will be able to determine whether it's worth it by the end of this video. The plane does come with a handful of upgrades, and they are quite pricey in terms of XP, but well worth it. The engine upgrade will cost a total of 15,000 XP, but it will upgrade your horsepower to 2,367, which is a massive improvement from the previous engine and Focke-Wulf. The Armament Payload will stay the same from the previous Focke-Wulf, but in case you didn't know, you can carry up to a 400 kilogram or roughly 882 pound bomb. The upgrade cost for this is 6,000 XP for both payloads. As for the armament, it will not change, but it is already incredibly powerful as is. The Focke-Wulf is equipped with two 7.9 MG17, two 20mm 151x20 cannons, and two 20mm FFM cannons. You will see how powerful this armament really is during the course of this video. Lastly, you can buy two skins for a total of 35,000 XP, which is nice because it gives you something to spend your XP on, and they also look really awesome. You will need to purchase the desert skin before being able to play on 2-brick, so keep that in mind. On to performance, the top cruising speed of this plane is roughly 880 km per hour or 547 miles per hour, which is extremely fast, and the top dive speed is supersonic. The acceleration and climb rate of this plane are also insanely fast, making this plane almost untouchable when played correctly. The plane does turn like a brick, so avoid turn fights at all costs, but usually the acceleration is high enough to get you out of one if you decide to turn with your opponent. Now let's get straight into combat. This plane excels at ground attacking due to its heavy payload and armaments. You only have one bomb, so you have to make it count. Otherwise, you will have to rely on strafing. The four 20mm cannons are strong enough to penetrate light and medium tank armor. However, heavy tanks like the Churchill will not take any damage from your cannons, so it is best to use your only bomb on heavy tanks instead of light tanks. When attacking ships, diving from high altitudes at sharp angles will result in the most damage from direct hits. As for strafing, the angle attack will usually not make a difference, but due to the lack of maneuverability, avoid risky angles of attack that can result in you crashing. A lot of people will say not to engage with this plane because it is extremely difficult. For new players, this plane can be hard to master due to its lack of maneuverability and high skill curve, but once mastered, this plane proves to be one of the best planes in the game for both ground attack and dogfighting. The general tactic involves boom and zoom, or B and Z. In a later video, I will show you how to dogfight with this plane, but for now, I will briefly explain what to do. When dogfighting, keep a relatively high altitude from the start. Dive onto your opponent to take deflection shots to avoid unnecessary energy losses. After your first strafe, avoid turning with your opponent, but instead climb to your max altitude and repeat the process. Other forms of attack may include hit and run tactics in a closer vicinity, taking advantage of acceleration to destroy targets. From my experience with this plane, dogfighting is very possible with this plane, and I in fact recommend you do dogfight with it. As long as you have mastered B and Z deflection shots, dogfighting with this plane becomes a breeze and very enjoyable. However, I would recommend focusing on ground attack and intercepting other bombers first, because those are priorities and this plane excels at those the best. Anyways, use your better judgment to determine what role you should play during missions. Now to conclude the review aspect of this video, this plane is definitely worth the price and is a much better improvement of the previous Focke-Wulf. If you have the gold and you are familiar with B and Z, I highly recommend you check this plane out. It is by far one of the most versatile planes out there and probably the best German aircraft at the moment. Now let's analyze some gameplay. Alright, so if you just saw that previous dogfight, that's what you want every single dogfight to look like, or at least you want to try to get it to look like. You don't want it to look like this, guys, where you have a Spitfire that was above you and it dives down on you, and you're struggling to get some speed here. That's how you just get wasted, okay? So right here I'm going for a ground attack, and I'm just going to try dropping my bomb, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I don't want to waste the bomb and jettison it, because I know I can get a kill with it at least. But I do have the Spitfire on me now, and it's my job to try to get off me. What you want to do in a situation like this is just dive away from it and climb up. What you don't want to do is something like this, where you try to force an overshoot, because that's how they'll light you up, especially when they're at longer distances like that. So avoid that. Try to make it look like the first dogfight. Over here we're going to be doing some more ground strafing, and for ground strafes they're very simple. Just aim at the target and just kind of light them up a little bit, and the 20mm will take care of the rest. When it comes down to head-on-head encounters, the Focke-Wulf will excel at this as well. Just make sure you aim at the plane and just kind of light it up as much as you can, and then just break off. Don't go for a ram because no one likes someone who just rams into them. So just break off early if you need to. Doesn't matter if you get killed or not, at least you won't be hated for the rest of your life. And then the rest of it, just pretty much just B and Z and just let your speed take care of the rest. Speed and armament. There's going to be another head-on-head encounter, and it's going to look exactly how you want it to look like. You can start with the head-on-head or however you want to do it. And it looks like we're landing a few hits here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up here and get that altitude advantage again. He's going to go ahead and pull down over to get some speed and then try to climb up above me. But he already knows he's kind of in a bad situation here because it looks just like the first dogfight that we had. I'm above him, he's below me. He has no speed while I have all the speed. So he's just going to go ahead and leave that battle. Now, because this plane turns like a brick, sometimes you'll find yourself in tricky situations when you're taking off and being attacked. What do I recommend? Well, if you remember earlier how I said one of the tactics could be using acceleration to your advantage and just turning into them and going for quick head-on-heads. So that's what I'll be doing right here, and hopefully it'll work out. So I'm going to go ahead and just aim, and I'm just going to hold down the trigger because if I miss all these shots, I'm dead. And it looks like we got all the hits we needed to secure a kill. Now we'll use our climb rate to be able to climb up to these Spitfires up here and try to take them out before they know what hit them. So it looks like this guy doesn't see me yet. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a deflection shot here. I'm just going to pre-fire a little bit, and it looks like we got quite a few hits on him, and that was enough to finish him off. This armament's obviously great for deflection shots. No need to try and just guess. Just aim a little bit in front of them, hold down the trigger, and let them run into it because that's all it really takes to finish the target. Now, since we have altitude advantage, we're going to go ahead and dive down on the Spitfire, who looks like he's chasing one of ours. So hopefully we'll be able to take the Spitfire off before the other dude gets destroyed. So I'll be turning my engine off a little bit here, or keeping it low for a bit at some times to get myself to be a little quieter, or to keep the engine quieter, and also to save a little bit of fuel because this thing eats it up really fast. But if you turn your engine off and you're up behind them and you're still getting speed and stuff, then it could help with just maintaining the sneak attack or whatever. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and just light him up. He doesn't really know that we were there. So that's another situation you want to find yourself in. If you're in the Spitfire, just listen for that engine behind you, or until you hear the first shots. So it looks like one of our guys just died on head there. So I'm going to go ahead and climb up as high as I can get here, because it looks like he knows that we're here and he's going to try dealing with us. So I'm climbing up as high as I can get. Then I'm going to go ahead and just roll over and hopefully get some hits. Now, I don't want to get on a too steep of an angle because I might crash into the ocean or something. So you want to make sure that the angle is not too steep to where you crash in the ocean. That was a pretty steep angle, but we still managed to get a few hits in. Usually I like to get a little bit more distance so I can maneuver a bit more. And you'll see what I'm talking about later on. There's some better clips of that. But I'm going to go ahead and climb up again. And you got to play the patient game, guys. If you're not a very patient person, this plane might not be a good match for you. But if you understand what B and Z is and how to use it, you'll be landing yourself a lot of kills. In fact, this plane's like incredibly OP at times, so I'm having a lot of fun with it, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll back over and just maintain my eyes on the target there. And this looks like a really steep angle, but he's going up head on head, so that's exactly what I wanted there, because he's going to go ahead and stall out, and that's my opportunity to light his wing up, and it looks like we got him. So if you're in a Spitfire, you don't want to find yourself in a situation like that, but that's exactly what I was looking for when I was diving down. Looks like there's going to be another head on head here, and it looks like I failed kind of miserably here, and I get hit quite a bit, but the durability of this plane's incredible. I didn't mention it earlier, but this plane got some serious durability. I'm probably like 0% health, but I haven't even lost any parts yet as far as I can see. Or at least I hope I didn't. I don't know. I'm smoking, so maybe I did. But I can't really feel a difference anyways. So we're doing pretty good on health here. And I'm trying to increase the distance a bit here, as you can see. I kind of have like a little bit more room to maneuver my nose a bit so that I can get deflection shots in. But I couldn't really see him there, so I kind of missed. And now I'm just going to head and turn into him a bit. Looks like there's someone behind me there. So I'm going to go ahead and do like some kind of high yo-yo here and then just climb up. You can forget the high yo-yo, I didn't do it. Alright, and then here's where we end it with a ram. I could explain that one all day if I wanted to, but basically he reversed directions and I wasn't anticipating that, so I kind of rammed him. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, and I'll be reviewing some of the tanks next. So stay tuned for those, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.